So now, in this fast-paced, crazy day we're going through here, I am super excited to announce our next speaker, Mr. Jay Kinder.
Hey.
He was here on time. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I know you've had a hectic day.
Yeah, allegedly I was on time. I mean, you did have to move things around for me, so I appreciate your flexibility.
I saw you pop in, though. I said, oh, there he is. So,
Yep.
Jay, thanks for joining us, man.
Yeah, man, I'm happy to be here.
So let me just share Jay's quick bio. Jay sent me his bio, and it was the shortest of anyone's that I got, I think. So I'm going to dress it up just a tiny bit for him a bit. So Jay Kinder, welcome to the show. Everyone beat Jay. Jay is the former #2 worldwide agent for Coldwell Banker, selling 531 homes in his best year. That's a lot of homes, Jay.
It was a lot of homes, yeah.
A lot. Jay is a co-founder of the National Association of Expert Advisors and Kinder-Reese Coaching. Jay is and I added this part, Jay is a huge influencer in the real estate industry. He's someone I've followed for a number of years as I've built my business. I've been on this journey of personal self-development, learning, growing, trying to model a business after the best of the best. And while Jay and I never met, we still have never met in person. I don't know, is this in person? It's the new way of meeting in person. But I've certainly known who Jay was for quite a while, followed him and their things. And, we have friends of friends for sure that, we've been connected that way, I guess. But I reached out to Jay because I wanted someone to just bring like immense value to the show. And I thought, well, I'm gonna take a shot and see if he responds. And he did in 2 or 3 seconds, man. I was impressed that you responded that quickly. Thank you for doing this. I'm going to share and get out of your way now as you share with us how to double our business, man.
Here's what I'm going to share with you guys. Like literally over the years, I've been in the business 22 years, 23 years. I'm losing count. Got in it when I was 19 years old and had, struggled through it the first few years, and then ultimately was able to get on track and by modeling success, finding people who had done it before, that were at the levels that I was trying to get to, and ultimately built it business up to my best year, 531 transactions. I sold 400 homes a year, probably on average for 10 years straight. I was #2 in the world for Coldwell Banker multiple years in a row, and then I went independent and we started a coaching company along the way, me and Michael Reese, and we coached a ton of agents to really an exponential growth, like a double your business and then double again and then double again. And it's really impressive, but we learned really the principles behind how to do that. And so what I want to share with you today is what I've learned over the years in my own business and helping Mike build his business and helping a lot of other agents build massively successful real estate businesses. Is what are the systems that you use to accelerate and accelerate growth, maximize profits, and then at the same time give you your life back, right? Like this having a business but not having a life is not okay with me. So that's kind of what we're going to talk about. And so one of my mentors, Jay Abraham, really helped us to understand strategy and doing the right things in the right order. But the process, strategy is just the process for making decisions that reduces risk, aligns your resources, and accelerates growth, right? And so one thing I think is pretty well misunderstood is understanding compounding. So if you think about it, if I ask this question, and it's a trick question, so I know what you're going to say, but $10,000 a day for 30 days, or would you rather have a penny doubled every day for 30 days? Well, we don't, because our brains don't know how to do compounding math. We would typically, not knowing that this was a trick, we would say, I'll take the 10,000 a day for 30 days. That sounds like a pretty good deal, 300 grand. But compounding is a really powerful thing. And so if you took the penny doubled every day, I mean, after 10 days, you're not going to feel very, very good about that. Even after 20 days, you're not going to feel very good about that. But on day 30, you're going to be at 5,368,000. I mean, you would have left 5 million on the table if you'd have taken that other offer. And so when you understand that compounding and the impact of consistently compounding things and what it does to your business, it really there's a strategy behind this that you can use to grow your business. And that's what we help people do to understand. Okay, if we focus on these things and increase all of these things all at the same time, what would happen? And in your business literally doubles and doubles. Like for 2, you can see, I've seen it happen 3 years, almost, I think 4 years in a row. We had one client that doubled, and they came to us at 40 transactions and they ended up at 800 and something is where they're at now. And so it's either 3 or 4 times they doubled. So Essentially, it's just the strategy that makes the growth rate of your business compound upon itself. And so there's 5 ways to grow a business. It doesn't matter any business in the world, 5 ways to grow it. That's it. But what most people don't realize is, like, if I say double your business, you think, well, that's going to be hard, doubling. And it's really only increasing improvement of 5.95% compounded monthly. So we only have to really increase 6% every single month on top of, and as that grows 6%, we grow that by the next month by 6% more. By the end of 12 months, you would have doubled. And so it's really not that hard when you think about that. And then, but when you understand the principles, that there's only 5 ways to grow a business. So when we're thinking about what things we're going to focus on in our business, they really need to be around these 5 areas. Number 1 is lead generation. I can probably guarantee you that if I got you more leads, you're probably going to end up closing more transactions. And the second one is lead conversion, which is, the leads that you have. What are the systems and processes to maximize the conversion of those leads? Could we be sharper on the appointment? Could we be better on the phone? Are there things that we can do to increase the conversion of leads, the speed of response? Or what are all of the levers that are involved in lead conversion that we can improve upon with the leads you already have? And then the third one is income per transaction, how much you make per transaction, per deal, per sale. So what are ways that we could improve the amount you get paid? You could have the first place I look is what's your split with your company? How much are you paying to the company that you're at? Are you getting 100% of the commission, or are you only getting 70%? That's one way. Another way would be to sell a higher average sale price. So selling homes on a higher average sale price is going to be a higher commission. And you could also increase what you charge. You could add a transaction fee, or you could charge, not discount your fee. That would increase the average unit of sale. So that's all of those are going to increase how much you get per transaction. So if we could just take you and say, move you from a $200,000 average sale price in your market to focusing on a $400,000 average sale price and double your income without doubling your transactions. That's one way that we could focus on growing your business. So when you do all these things together, it has that geometric impact on your growth. The fourth one is referral and repeat business. And the principle behind this, if you're thinking about it in any other business, is actually called frequency of purchase. So if you think about Walmart, for instance, if you go to Walmart once a month and they could get you to come to Walmart twice a month, they're doubling the revenues from their customer base. So frequency of purchase is, how do we get people to come back more often? And for us in real estate, because there's not very many clients, and I would argue that REO is a client that comes back often. Your builders, investors, all of those are clients that are, you can increase their frequency of purchase because they're going to be clients that come and give you deals all the time. But I shift my focus on this one and the principle of that around referral and repeat business. That is where I kind of lean in on. So the power of compounding. This story is about this book is Good to Great from Jim Collins, and they basically take companies, and they would take one company that was at one point and another company was at the same point in time. One of them becomes a great company and the other one doesn't. Well, why did this happen? And what was it that really drove that to happen? And so in the book, they talk about Ecker Drug was the comparison company, and Walgreens was the company that went from good to great. And Walgreens had some amazing years, but in 1975, they beat the general market by 15 times. They dominated with the strategy that they had. And their strategy was committed. They were committed to becoming the most convenient drugstore option in the market. And so many of you may remember this. This will show your age. I actually do remember I was a kid. I remember them tearing down a Walgreens in the middle of the block, and they moved it to the end of the block. And I was like, what on earth are they doing? And what they were doing was they were increasing the conveniency by being on a hard corner. It was easy to access. This photo is showing foot traffic, so you're going to get more foot traffic. But if you're if the one that I'm thinking of when I was a kid is a Walgreens. It's on the corner. I had a big parking lot, easier to access from multiple directions, and they drove more people through the front door. And that is, for Walgreens, that is more leads, right? They got more leads, and so they had more people walking into the store. They did another thing that was frequency of purchase that we're talking about, increasing the average unit of sale. Walgreens put in photo processing, and when they did that, people would come, they drop off their photos. On average, they spend, let's say, $28 while they're in there in the store, maybe at Walgreens, but let's say they spend $14 when they come to the store, and then you come back, whatever it is, I can't remember how long it was, a day or two later, and you pick up your photos, and then you buy another $14 worth of stuff. So if you had 2 rolls of film a month, that's 4 more times that you would come to the store. So they made it more convenient. More people were coming in. Those people were coming in more often for more reasons, and they were literally dominating the market because there's a compound effect on all the efforts that they did. The next thing that they did was they increased the dollar spent per customer. They did this by increasing the amount of products. And by 25%, they made the aisles a little bit more narrow so they could get more stuff into the store. They changed the kind of things that they had that was, things that you would need that you'd be willing to pull in as a convenience store kind of and come in and get those things, not just a pharmacy. And they increased the amount of money that people spend on average in the store. And if you do that times every customer you have across the country, your business will grow geometrically, right? And so that I wanted to give you that example because think about that in your own business. What are the ways that we can apply these principles to your business so that you have the same results? I will tell you the number one success factor in becoming more successful in real estate is high leverage activities. If you want to be more successful in real estate, you have to understand one rule, and that is highest and best use. You will never net $1 million a year doing $10 an hour work, right? If you don't change the outcome, you shouldn't be doing it. That's one of my principles of life. If you don't change the outcome, meaning anyone else can do it and get the same result, then you probably shouldn't be doing it. And when you think about that, don't think that you're the only one that can do it, because most of the time, if there's something a specific way, if like you have a hard time delegating and letting go of stuff, and it's like, it'd be easier if I just do it myself. If you don't have a process that you can describe for how you do something, then you're winging it. Okay. So you have to create a process, and then you can teach someone the process. Anything can be taught if you have a process for how you do things. So anything can be delegated, almost anything. There's very few things in this business that we actually change the outcome in. But here's what, there's all these things that we do, right? So if you had an org chart and we were looking at, this is what we call our 9 box. And this is looking at what's the highest skill things and what's the low skill, what's the low value things and that sort of thing. And as you can see, the highest dollar per hour thing that we do in real estate is when we're face to face with the seller. That could be $1,000 an hour work or more, because we typically only spend 1 hour to 3 hours with the seller, and on average we spend about 3 hours or 21 hours on average with a buyer for that same commission. So the multiplier in real estate is when you focus on getting listings. Plus, when you get listings, what happens? Listings get phone calls. They get buyer phone calls. You can double into listing. You can't double into buyer. If you have a listing, someone can call you because you got a listing that sold. So like the compound effect of focusing on listings is what really makes geometric growth in your business. But most of these things that we're doing are lower dollar activities. Managing your transactions, putting all the information and feedback to your clients on what's going on with the listing, going around putting out lock boxes, delivering brochures and things of that nature, data entry, paying bills, stuff like that. All of these things are things that don't you don't typically change the outcome, and you create systems around. So delegate, get yourself to the point where you're face to face with clients all the time, or if nothing else, making those calls, because that's where the opportunity is. So most real estate agents that I meet that are under 48 transactions a year, that's really, if you're stuck, generally speaking, you're stuck right in these 3 stages, and it boils down to there's 1 or 2 systems that if I could help you with and install in your business, that you would immediately move to the next level. It would immediately solve your problem, and that's sales and marketing. Right now, most real estate agents depend on their repeat business, their referral business, but it's not predictable. Right. So if you've been on that roller coaster and you know what I'm talking about, it's like, I got this roller coaster business. You don't know where your next deals are coming from, because there's nothing that you've nailed down that's marketing and sales funnel related that's driving your business, that hey, I know I'm going to get, X number of leads and X number of deals from this one thing. And so we tend to do a bunch of things, a lot of times not the right things, to try to figure out how to get business. And really what we need is 1 or 2 solid lead generation pillars that produce predictable new business for on the listing side for you in order to go to the next level. So the highest value skill in real estate is the ability to articulate your value, knowing how to get someone to say yes to hiring you. That is the number 1 skill. If you drop me into any market in the country, I can articulate my value proposition. We have a proven, repeatable system that's backed by market research to sell homes for up to 18% more than the methods of traditional real estate agents. Would you like for me to show you how we do that? I can call physicals, I can call expireds, I can call neighborhoods, but I have the mouthpiece. You have to have the ability to articulate your value proposition. That's the number 1 skill. And the number 2 skill And the most valuable thing, if you ever want to never have to worry about money again, is learning how to spend money in marketing to acquire a customer. This is a skill you have to learn. You don't delegate this by spending money on Zillow. You don't delegate this by spending money on Realtor.com. You don't delegate this by hiring someone else to do the marketing. This is a skill you have to learn. If you're in real estate, this is a skill you have to learn. So getting listings through an inbound strategy. I'm going to share with you the strategies that we use. And you first have to understand that you are the brand. So as Jay-Z says, I'm not a businessman. I am the businessman. You're the business. You're the brand. So whether you like your face or not, or whether you think it belongs on a sign or not, you got to put it on the sign, because people are going to they're going to resonate with, hey, I see her face everywhere. And that's what they're going to remember. They're not going to remember your fancy logo and your fancy team name and all that stuff, right? You got to remember, people are creatures of habit. Like if you give me something that's confusing, I'm going to go Google something, probably mess it up. So it has to be your brand, it has to be your name, and it has to be something that they can go remember to go Google, because they're not going to just call the number on the sign. Not very often. So over the years, we learned that in our branding, we branded the sign. You know why? Because we wanted people to say, man, we see your signs everywhere. And so whether you're doing postcards or you got wrapped vehicles or whatever the case may be, everything we did in our marketing ended up being revolving around the sign ultimately, because that's what we wanted everybody to remember. So here's the key to everything in marketing. Your message has to be seen up to 21 times to become top of mind with a cold prospect. Okay. So now when you think about signs, if somebody leaves their home and they drive by your sign, and then they come back home for lunch, and they leave lunch again, and they come back home after that, that's 4 times that they got to see your face. That's 4 impressions. So over time, the more signs that you have, the more impressions that you're making. Now that's not enough to get you all the business in the world, but it's starting to work right now. What you got to do is you add omnipresence. They got to start seeing you everywhere. If you put a billboard outside of their neighborhood, or if you started mailing them postcards every week for 8 weeks, now all of a sudden you're going to become top of mind very quickly. So most of the things that you've ever done in marketing, if it wasn't branded to you, number one, and if it wasn't done at least 21 times, it probably didn't get very good results. And that's the principle. And once you understand the principle, marketing becomes a lot easier. When it comes to mindshare, there's only a number 1 and a number 2. It's a 2-horse race. There's not another. They're not the third real estate agent they think of doesn't get a phone call. So that's important to understand. So reach and frequency. Reach is how many people see your message, and frequency is how many times they see your message. So this is where most people mess up, is they say, hey, I want to mail this postcard to 5,000 homes. And then they never mail it again, right? I got something in the mail the other day at my house, and it was the only mailer I got, and I haven't got anything else since, and I don't even remember their name to make fun of them, right? People don't just make a decision, based upon, I wish I knew a real estate agent. Let me just open the mailbox. Oh, here's a postcard. Oh my God, it's a real estate agent. I just needed one. Like, that's not how it works, okay? So like, don't spray and pray. You want the frequency. In fact, I would do it. I would say mail 500 homes and mail them over and 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 over again, instead of 5,000 homes one time. You'll never get a result, or you'll get very limited results off of that postcard. So, and as you can see in this example here, the more signs you have, man, you start looking like you're everywhere, right? So making, this is the game of impressions. Get your signs in everybody's yard. So here is the number 1 way that we're focusing on lead generation today. And it is the wild, wild west. It used to be really hard for you to do marketing and get results. It was expensive, to be honest with you. So this is much better. With Facebook, we have the ability to target based on certain psychographics or geographic parameters, and the ability to retarget them based on actions that are taken for nothing, literally for pennies. And so it's incredibly, incredibly effective. Building an audience is the new currency in marketing. It's not, the old way was, what's your database, your past clients, the unconverted leads you have, using email, phone, and text. Today, it's social media, getting subscribers, engaging an engaged audience, using pixels to build this audience of people that have clicked on something and came to your page. This is how we do marketing today, and it's much, much better. So audiences grow organically. This is one thing. If you produce valuable content, you go live on and share something about what's going on in the real estate market in your market. People that watch that, if they like, comment, and share, if you give them a good giveaway, then they like, comment, and share. Then Facebook and Instagram will say, well, hey, people like this. We'll show it to more people. Then they engage with it and they'll even show it to more people. And so eventually you build this audience organically by just producing good content using Facebook Live. Facebook Live will show that organically. You don't even have to promote it. You just have to create something that gets people to engage and gets people to comment and gets people interested in what you're doing. Lots of ways to do that. So in every video that you post, here's the most important mistake everybody makes in video. Your content needs to add value to your audience while positioning you as an authority. It needs to have a universal call to action every time. And that should be driving them into your sales process. So if you were, let's say you did a podcast via Facebook Live and you were interviewing business owners in your marketplace, you would have a little commercial in the beginning, very subtle, say, my name is Jay Kinder. I'm with EXP Realty, and if you'd like a free, no obligation home evaluation, go to jayshomeevaluation.com. That's not a really good example, but you get where I'm going. Like, there needs to be your call to action, or download this free report, or download the post COVID-19 home sellers report. Go to post COVID-19 report.com, whatever. Right. So if you're thinking of selling, you need to check that out. So you would put that in your video, and you would put that in the beginning and at the end. That's a bookend. That's a call to action. If you don't have a call to action, they're never going to reach out to you. You're never going to get them into a sales process. You're not even going to know they were interested seller. So anybody that clicks on that or goes to that page gets pixeled. And now you have an audience of people that were interested in selling, or they would never. Right. So now we can start showing them different videos. So that cold audience, they watch, let's say they watch 25% of your video that they land on that page. And then they become your warm audience. And now you can retarget them with testimonials, with whatever you want to, more videos with calls to actions on moving forward in the sales process. Schedule a call to have me analysis of what to do or what not to do to sell your home for the most money in this market. So that is the process. That is the process today. Video content strategy, it builds your personal brand, it builds your authority as an expert, and it builds an audience that sees you everywhere, and at the same time while building your business, generating revenue.
There's a lot there. One of the things that I know is interesting to people that is, it's complicated. It's not true, but Facebook advertising is a thing. It's been for a while, right? We all started doing that, and now it's gotten more. It's evolved, I guess I would say, more to it than just throwing up an ad and praying somebody clicks on it, right? As you demonstrated. So how in the world did you figure all that out? How in the world would somebody who's barely doing that? How would they?
It goes back. It's funny because I do a lot of these little appearances and share a little content and stuff like that. I love doing them. But you said something in the beginning that it's 100% true. For every single person that you probably have on, they all did the same thing that you said. You modeled success, and I've done the same thing my whole career. I find the best. I'm literally my claim to fame is I'm not the smartest kid in class. I always sit next to them, right? Like that's who is the best in the world? Well, who's the best in the world at marketing? In my opinion, it's Dan Kennedy, Jay Abraham, and Frank Kern. They all three bring something to the table that's different. Dan is the best direct response marketer on the planet. He charges $34,000 a day. I've paid it once. Jay Abraham charges $50,000 a day. I paid it 3 times. Frank Kern charges $60,000 for his mastermind. I've been in it for years. And so I'm just going to find whoever the best in the world is, and I'm going to learn from them. So that strategy I'm teaching, I modeled that from Frank Kern. And it's, it's just understanding like there's somebody out there that's doing this really well. And especially if they're doing it to you in marketing, then okay, well, it worked because I'm here paying you $60,000. So those are the people that I follow. But yeah, you want to make sure that it's the most important thing you can do. Who are the people that you're spending your time with and you're spending your time around? The cool thing about Facebook is if you want to go get the Wall Street Journal top 100 agents, you can go to every single one of their Facebook pages and you can look at every ad that they're running successfully right now. So if the assumption is if you're in the top 100 agents on the Wall Street Journal, you probably are doing some Facebook marketing correctly or doing something that's working. Then you can actually through Facebook go look at what ads are running from anybody's pages. And so you just want to be relentlessly pursuing this skill set. And it seems to be like keep moving ahead, like just out of reach, for a lot of people. I know that feeling because I have that feeling too sometimes. But you got to first understand the principles and then learn or hire someone that can execute the plan. And so there's a lot of people out there that can execute it. And so that's the good news is there's a lot of people that you can hire, agencies that understand the strategy. You tell them what you're trying to accomplish. they'll help you make sure you don't leave things out. So, if you seek, you'll find.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. I love that. Yeah, I started the introduction of this thing this morning with something you just said, just triggered that again. I want to go back to it, but is that somebody asked me why I was doing this, because we're not charging for it. You're not getting paid for it. I'm not getting paid for it. This is just a pure value add share. And they said, why would you do that? And I said, over the course of the last few years, I've been very blessed to have upped my game. I've outkicked my coverage, if you will, in terms of my circle of people that I'm in business with now, right? Like I did it purposefully. It didn't happen by accident, but I'm super blessed by that. And this is just a way for me to introduce people to you and to Kevin Kaufman, who's coming up in a bit, and John Marone, who started us off today. And so that part about who you're in business with and who you follow matters so much. I'm wondering, was there a moment where you really decided to up your game, and did you start reaching out to those people? Or
So I was just dumb enough to think that if they could do it, I just need to get closer to them, right? So I'll never forget, I was sitting in a seminar, and I used to go to all the little ones that were close by my market and stuff like that, and I would pick up like one or two little nuggets, and then I would go use it, and I would get results, and I'd be like, oh man, that's freaking awesome, that's awesome. And so like I was always willing to invest in myself. I think some people maybe make investments in themselves and they don't get that result like I did early. And so like I was willing to bet it all the time. I'm like, whatever the event is, and like then the next event is like $1,000. Like, are you kidding me? Craig Proctor, $1,000. And I get there and it's like coaching $12,000. Are you kidding me? This is crazy. But I always made the investment in myself. And I remember sitting in one of the Proctor seminars early on. I was probably doing 100, 200 deals at the time. And the dude next to me was doing like 430. Just sitting right next to me, he was doing 430 something transactions. Like I couldn't even compute that at the time. I couldn't even think that big. It didn't even occur to me that was possible. Never heard of numbers like that. Then 3 years later, I'm doing more than that. Right. But I started spending my time around the kind of people that stretched my mind until it wouldn't go back to normal. And, that's when you get into those environments like that. And they pull you up to the top if you're open-minded and you're humble and you're willing to learn and you're a good copycatter. Let me say that one thing. What I learned a lesson a long time ago. I thought I copied someone's script exactly. We recorded the call and we listened to it together. I still thought I said it exactly, and I'm looking at the script and I'm listening to it at the same time, and I was wrong. I had reversed a few things around and it changed up the context enough that it messed up the script. But to me, I was doing it and it wasn't working. I used that script moving forward and it worked. And I was like, holy smokes, I've got to be a better copycatter. Like it was obvious after that I wasn't a very good listener and good copycatter. So like when you take somebody's idea, don't make it your own. Do it exactly like they say, and then you'll get the results. And then if you want to monkey with it, go ahead. But don't do that first. We tend to try to make it our own. And, let me change this and that. You might be messing something fundamentally that you don't know that you should mess up. And it happens all the time in marketing. Changing the headline, not understanding the headline is 80% of the result, not having a good call to action. All of these things, and we chalk it up as, that doesn't work. Well, it's not necessarily true. We just we either didn't understand the principles and we changed something, or we didn't copy well enough, right? And so often, or we changed one little thing. Well, you said you mailed it once a week. I mailed it once a month, and I didn't get any results. Well, that's why you mailed it once a month, not once a week. So like all those little things is like really truly understand the principles. And I gave a lot of those on here, so hopefully you guys get that. Like know that frequency matters more than everything. Like how many times they see you is going to determine the result of any campaign that you do. And so those are things that I've learned the hard way by spending a lot of money that didn't get me anything, and and getting around people that were smarter than me and learning from them, and so I could fix those mistakes.
Yep. Nope. That's awesome. I love that. Be a good copycat. Be a great copycat, right?
Yeah.
Like that's a big deal. I think the other thing I would add on to that, and I'm pretty sure you would agree with me on this, is when you reach out to someone for advice like that, if I'm going to reach out to Jay Kinder and you're gonna model something out for me and you're going to go do it this way, I think you almost have a responsibility. I have a responsibility then to go back and do it.
Yes. Right.
Honor your time, right? Like, yeah, that matters to people, right?
Yeah. It's the best thing in the world when people come back to you and tell you, I got a text message yesterday from a guy that we helped him build his business he said, I was just in a moment of gratitude. I'm sitting here looking at my wife and my 4 kids and where we're at versus where we were when we met you guys. And was just a really, nice thing to say. but it makes me feel so good, right? Like when I help somebody and they acknowledge it years later, man, there's nothing that makes me feel better. That's why I spend time. There's nobody that if you message me and you ask me a question, I'm going to get back to you just like I did to you.
Yep.
Like if I miss it, it's a rare case, but if I'm, traveling or something and I miss one or whatever, it can happen. But like, I'm genuinely just going to try to help people. And that's what you'll find. The people that get to success, the fulfillment for them at that point is helping other people. So you're not bothering me. You're not bothering anybody. Reach out to them. Ask them a question. What you'll find is most of the time they're going to be willing to help with you or meet with you or give you some advice. So don't be afraid. Find the people that you want to mentor that have done what you want to do, and ideally the best mentors are ones that have helped other people get there too. Right? Like that's the best mentors is they've been at the highest level of success and they helped others do it too. That means they have a process for that. So like that's the people you want to listen to and really model your success after, what you're doing after.
Yep. No, for sure. Hey, man, I can't tell you how much I appreciate that you would jump on here today and do this.
Happy to do it, man.
I know you had kind of a crazy day, and
yeah,
I hope everything's awesome that way. But I just want to say thank you. I truly appreciate it. If there's ever anything I can do, obviously, to help you in return, you yell back at me. But I hope everybody got a lot of value out of this. I'm certain they did. And thank you.
Right. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Have a great day.
Take care, man. Thanks.
Yeah.